Throughout the entire month of October, the Killer Clowns promised, they vowed that they were going to raid streets, that they were going to assault stores, that they were going to purge the streets, that they were going to take over the world, and yet it's November 1st, and we survived the Killer Clown Purge. We're here. We're all seething for an answer exactly what happened. Why didn't they take over the world? Do they live up to their promise? Well, apparently not. But in this video, though, we got a chance to talk to, once again, the leader of the Purge movement, BooBoo the Clown, who promises something else. Despite the fact that the Purge did not happen last night, he is still vowing for something in the future, which we get to talk about in the video. As for me, I almost got abducted last night, of course, as seen in the video, but thankfully, everything was rectified right after. We'll talk about it in the video right now, but in terms of the interview, let's show you it at this point. Mr. BooBoo the Clown, welcome to the interview again, and this is such a loaded interview because a lot of people over the past 24 hours have been asking the question, why? Why didn't you guys take over? In fact, everybody was walking the old proverbial eggshells. Everybody was on the edge of their seat. Everybody was wondering, why didn't the Killer Clowns take over? Because you promised, you vowed that you and your Killer Clown posse were going to take over the world, and yet, apparently, it did not happen. We all survived the Killer Clown Purge. So, to our audience, what do you want to tell them? Why didn't it happen?
The reason why it didn't happen is because I, myself, called it off.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second. After everything that you said for the past month, you called it off.
The reason why I called it off is we were ready. I want to stop nuclear weapons by next year.
Wait, hold on. So, I just wanted to clarify real quick before we actually proceed with this interview. Did you just say that you weren't ready, and because the fact that you called it off was because you wanted nuclear weapons?
Correct.
Isn't that a little crazy to actually try to acquire nuclear weapons?
Maybe crazy to you, maybe crazy to some others, but not to us. And if I recall correctly, didn't we abduct you last night?
Well, actually, yeah, you guys did try to abduct me last night, as seen in the video, in the most previous video. These Killer Clowns came in. Well, you know, it's funny because these Killer Clowns came in and they hoisted me up and they took me out of my room. They, of course, went outside. They threw me to the ground. And then these cops actually came in at the last second, thankfully, and they ran off. Which leads me to this question. The Killer Clowns running from the cops as well. I saw it with my own eyes, and a lot of people around the world also saw how these Killer Clowns were in the streets, but they didn't do anything. Why were the Killer Clowns scared? Now, I know you called it off. I get it. But why were they at least scared to go with their plans?
They weren't scared of the cops. Anything I say, they do. I told them to come back.
Okay. Let's talk about next year then, 2022. Are you sure by then you and your clowns are going to take over?
100%.
And my question now is, are you guys going to continue with your acts over the next few months until October of next year? Or are you guys going to just step away for a bit and then around perhaps August of next year, all of a sudden you guys are going to rise back up? What's the plan here?
Well, we will be out still here and there, but our main big comeback will be on Halloween 2022 once we acquire our nuclear weapons.
Now, in order for you guys to get nuclear weapons, though, I mean, you do understand that you guys have to invade armories and military bases and so on and so forth. You do understand that they're actually heavily guarded, correct?
That's no problem.
Okay. So, let me ask you this question. With how a lot of people reacted last night, a lot of people have been saying, oh my god, these Killer Clowns were a bunch of liars. Oh my god, these Killer Clowns were all hype. Oh my god, these Killer Clowns were just a bunch of trolls. What's your response to the people who are thinking that you're just a bunch of hogwash, that all of you killer clowns out there are no threat at all, that all of you killer clowns out there are actually just a bunch of trolls trying to scare everyone, and that people aren't taking it seriously? What's your response to that?
They're just a bunch of idiots who think we are fake, but we are not fake. My response is, they can think anything they want, but we are coming back no matter what. This is my heads up to all of you.
So you're warning the public that you guys are going to rise up again next year.
Correct.
But now that the Killer Clown Purge didn't even happen, aren't you afraid that from here all the way to October of 2022, that you guys actually are going to lose more killer clowns, that you guys are going to lose a lot more members, that you guys are going to face a lot of repercussions because we're just about a year away now? I mean, this is a long time. Aren't you afraid that killer clowns from here on to then are going to say, you know what, maybe this isn't worth it? Aren't you afraid of this? How you're going to lose a lot of influence and a lot of inspiration? Aren't you afraid that you're going to lose your image by then?
Actually, I'm not afraid, because each year, close to October, I actually gain more clowns of mine all around the world. So instead of losing them, I will be gaining more.
Let's talk about what your views are, mainly in the United States, because Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, Mexico, and all the other countries all over the world, it's really a global phenomenon. But the United States, though, mainly is the one where all the killer clowns are stationed in. Do you consider the USA the biggest threat? And if that is a yes, would you still have it in your radar until next year?
Everywhere I have my clowns is a threat. And yes, the States, everyone who lives in the States is going to have a lot of clowns attacking them. They're all across the States. So yes, it is a threat for humans.
Let's talk about this then, because this is something that I've been thinking about over the past couple of minutes as well. It's November. Obviously, next month is December, and so on and so forth. You said that you guys are going to be wandering, that you guys are going to be walking and just, I guess, hanging in the streets. Will you guys still be doing all the killer clown scare, though? Or will you not be doing anything? For example, the abductions, the minor school invasions, the cinema attacks. Are you going to stop on those at the very least?
We will keep doing what we do. Raiding cinemas, raiding houses, scaring people on the streets.
So it's almost as if... Oh, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
We will be getting more deadly nuclear weapons for next year.
Okay. It's almost as if perhaps you guys are trying to gain momentum. It's almost as if you guys are trying to gain even more image. And in October of next year, Halloween 2022, that's when you guys are going to strike with nuclear weapons. Just to be on the safe side here, let me ask you this question then. For all the people who believe that this is all a joke, you're basically assuring that it's not, number one. And number two, the reason why you did not commit to this Killer Clown Purge worldwide was because you had a new vision, and that vision was nuclear weapons. And that's the only possible way that you can indeed take over the world.
That is right.
Here's my final question then. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be interviewing you then. But nonetheless, do you believe you will ever be stopped?
Good question. And my answer to your question is, I believe in my gut I will not be stopped. doesn't matter who it is, under any cost. I will not be stopped.